Hi, so in today's video I want to show you how you can make some quick and simple but effective Christmas cards and 3D projects just using a few minimal supplies. So I've got the Let It Snow Designer Series paper pack and I've got the Snowman Season stamp set, and these are the two main items that I'm going to be using. I've got a Real Red and Coastal Cabana ink pad, and I've also got a Tuxedo Black Memento. I may use that as well. I've got some of the stamp sets already on blocks, but some I'm going to have to change as I go along. So before I start, I just want to show you this paper pack. So it's 12 by 12, it's all double-sided as usual, and this is Speciality Designer Series paper, and that means that some of the papers have got like a built-in sparkle or, special effect on them. So you've got this one that's all a small snowman, and when you turn it over, you've just got Coastal Cabana and white dots, which is beautiful. You've got the mittens and the kind of sprigs and snowflakes, and when you turn it over again you've got Coastal Cabana white and Real Red stripes. This one is one of the speciality papers. Not sure how well you're going to see this, but the snowmen are all glittered, which is lovely, and then on the back you've got a red and white stripe. Again, the snowmen, as you can see, I've been cutting into this. On this paper the snowmen are glittered, and on the reverse side you've got similar to this one, but this is red and white. Then you've got the hats and Coastal Cabana and Real Red and White snowflakes, and then you've got the trees, and again these are all glittered, and on the back you've got more stripes. So it really is a beautiful pack of paper, and obviously because it comes in 12 by 12, it's so versatile. Not just card making, scrapbooking, 3D projects, So that's the paper I'm using. To save a little bit of time, I have pre-cut my card bases and my stamping layers. So I have a piece of Coastal Cabana which I've cut from A4 on the short side straight down the middle. Now obviously I realise that UK A4 is a slightly different size than A4 in other countries, so don't get too bothered about the actual sizes. Just cut your layers a 1/4 of an inch shorter than your actual card base. So for mine, my card base in length is 11 3/4, so I'm going to score this at 5 7/8. But as I say, don't worry too much about that. You just use your your card sizes and make your matting layers as you would do, or if you're new, just measure your width and your height and take a 1/4 of an inch off that, and then that becomes your matting layer. So this is going to be the matting layer for the front of my Coastal Cabana card. I'm just going to bring in my piercing mat, which I've got some scrap paper on. And for my first card, I'm going to keep it really, really simple, and I'm going to use this snowman. I'm going to use his hat and his little arms and one of the greetings, and I may do some of the snowflakes. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp the snowman in Tuxedo Memento Black. Because I think I'm going to have my greeting along the bottom, but I'm not sure. I may move it up to the top. So we'll start off with the snowman. So I've got the snowman on the block, Tuxedo Memento Black, and I'm just going to stamp him. I might just stamp him. Yeah, I'm going to have the greeting in the middle, so I'm going to stamp him about 1.5 inches up from the bottom. press lightly and lift. Now, just to save some time, I've got my Simply Scrub to the side of me, and I'm just going to clean the stamps as I go because I want to reuse some of the blocks. I'm going to get the arms and put them on a block and just ink that up. And there are 2 arms in this pack, but I'm just using the same one for now. Then I'm going to bring this block in and I'm going to put the Merry Christmas on it. And again, I'm going to do this in the black. And I'm going to put that at the bottom, I think. Mounting up the little hat. And I'm going to stamp his hat, and I'm not too bothered about whether it's straight or on an angle or anything like that. And I'll just get rid of that for now. Then I'm going to bring in some blends. So I'm going to try and keep the blends to a minimum. So I'm using Pool Party, and I'm just going to give him a little bit of grounding. And then I think I'll give him a Pool Party rim on his hat. I'll bring in some Old Olive and I'll just colour in the leaves for the holly and some Real Red. And these are all light in the blends. And then I think I'll bring my Pool Party back in and I'll just go round his body, just so he's not completely white. I've got Calypso Coral, which I'm going to use for his little carrot nose. And then I've not got a black blend. I thought I had, but I don't appear to have one. So I'm just going to bring in one of the watercolour pencils and colour the hat. You could leave it white. And I'm just going to bring in my blender pen and just blend out those pencil stroke lines with the blender pen. I'm going to bring in my Coastal Cabana ink, and I've got the snowflakes mounted up on here. We'll just see how they look. And I'll just do a few snowflakes. I'm going to bring in some snail. And I'm just going to mount this up onto the front of my card. So that's the first card. Quick and simple, stamping and simple layering up. So for my second card, again, I've got a piece of card that I've cut on the short side straight down the middle. can just fold our card if you want to. You don't have to, you know, particularly score it. It will fold and crease nicely, but if you want to, you know, score it in half. Again, I've got a piece of Whisper White, which I've cut 1/4 of an inch smaller to go on the front. This time, I'm going to use this little snowman here. I am going to stamp him in black. I'm going to put him at the bottom right hand corner. Clean him off and put him away because I'm going to use the block again in a few minutes for a different little character. Again, I'm going to bring in the pool party. Just going to give him a little bit of grounding on the bottom. Again, just go round just the outer edges of him. Calypso coral again for his little carrot nose. And I'm just going to put that on one side for a minute. Now, I've cut myself some circles. You could cut these with the stitch dies, or if you've got a punch, I did these with the ScanNCut. This is 2 inches and this is 2 1/4. I'm going to bring in my real red. And I've got the words, "Let It Snow," mounted up on here. Just stamp it to see how it's looking. So I'm lightly tapping. I'm going to stamp this over to the right hand side of the circle. Again, I'm just going to clean the block off. I'm not sure whether I'm going to need that one again or not, but I'm going to put it away. I'm going to put the ink away for now. I'm going to bring in the Coastal Cabana again and the little snowflakes. I'm just going to ink them up, stamp off, and then stamp lightly just over the "Let It Snow." I'm going to put the little white circle on top of the red one. Mount my piece of Whisper White. And then this one, I think I'm going to put here, but I'm going to chop it off. And I might actually raise that one up. So I'm going to get some dimensionals and just put them on the right hand side. Of this circle. Then I'm going to put this up here, like so. Then I'm going to turn it over, bring in my bigger scissors, and then I can get it in one go. So that's how that's looking now. I'm going to bring in my embellishments. And I'm going to use the basic pearls. And I'm going to use the small ones and I'm going to put them over. So small and medium I'm going to use. And I'm just going to put them over the little dots here so they're like snowballs. So 2 small, 2 medium, and then I think I'll just scatter some of the smaller ones just in the middle of the snowflakes. So that's another simple little card. Now for the next one, I'm going to score the card again, fold it over and burnish it. I've got a piece of the designer series paper that I've cut 1/4 of an inch shorter, and I'm just going to layer this up onto the front of my Whisper White card piece. And I'm going to let the paper do the talking with this one, so I'm going to keep it fairly simple. So I've cut a strip that's 1 inch wide, and I'm going to put this, I think, across here, something like this, and then I've got a piece that's 3/4 of an inch wide, which I'm going to layer up, and I'm going to put the greeting on this. So again, the greeting that I'm going to use is going to be the Merry Christmas, and I'm going to use the real red. And I'm just going to stamp it. So I'm just going to bring it towards me. And stamp it down. And lift. Again, I'm just cleaning the stamps as I go. I've not planned any of these. I kind of had the ideas into my head, and that's why I've cut the layers. And I kind of thought what stamp I might use on which card, but you know, sometimes you change it as you go, don't you? So I'm going to cut this so it sits flush with this. I'm going to stick this onto here. I'm going to put this on foam pads, dimensionals, and then I'm going to put this, I think, below centre, so not directly near the bottom but below centre. Then I'm going to use a basic rhinestone just to put over the eye of the Christmas. And then I've got a piece of our white flax ribbon, and I'm just going to cut the end piece off it all the way along, because it makes it easier to separate the strands if you do this. And then I'm going to grab 2 strands like so, and I'm going to tie a bow. I'm going to attempt to tie a bow. Let's do it this way. So 2 strands. And then I'm just going to fiddle with it until I get it how I want it to look. And when I'm happy with that, I'm just going to cut that off. And I think I will stick that just on here. So I'm going to pick up a glue dot and I'm just going to squash it up so it's tiny. And I'm going to put it on the back of my little bow and put that there. So that's how that one's looking. And I'm just letting the paper, you know, be centre stage on this card. So that's that one. Then for my next one, this time I've cut a piece of Whisper White in half on the long side. So my card's going to fold this way. So again, I'm just going to bring this in and I'm going to score this at 4 1/8 because my A4 measures 8 1/4. As I say, yours may be different. Again, I've got a piece of the paper. This time I'm using the little snowman. I'm going to layer this up. So I've got that. I've got a piece that I've cut, which is the other side. This is 1 inch wide. And I was thinking that I might put this kind of just above halfway. And then I've cut some ovals. Again, you could use stitch dies or the dies. I've just cut these on my ScanNCut. And my thinking was I was going to put those there, stamp on this and put a greeting down here. So I think I'll stick this down for now. And this one I'm going to put straight across the card this time. Like so. Again, I'm going to use the edge of the card to cut that waste away. Just move these scraps. Bring in my mat again. I've got my snowman all mounted up, and I think this time I'm going to stamp him in Coastal Cabana. So we'll see how this looks. Might just have to stamp him and see. Yeah, I think that's going to work. So I bring my oval in. And stamp him down. This is going to mount up on here. So again, I'm just going to use snail. going to bring those pearls in again. Pick up some of these small pearls and use them as like little snowballs. I'm going to put this one on 3D foam. I'm using up all the edges. That's another tip if you're new. Don't just use, you know, the shaped dimensionals. Use all the waste around the edges. Bring my card in. Pop this one here, like so. Then I'm going to bring in another greeting from the stamp set. And this one says, hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. And I'm going to stamp that on a piece of white, and I'm going to use black because there is black in the paper from the hats and things. So I'm going to bring in my memento. I'm just going to cut this piece down. So it sits on there. And then I think that is just going to go on the bottom. So let's turn it over. And this, again, this was cut at 3/4 of an inch by, it was just a scrap. And this is an inch. So I'm just going to layer that. Or actually, let's see, let's think about this. Do I put it there like so? Might do it that way actually. I'm going to put this right over to the edge. I was going to centralise it, but I'm changing my mind. So I'm going to put that over to the edge. Like so. And then I think I'll just cut this on an angle. Let me think how I'm going to do it. I might just flag the end. Let's see how this looks. As I say, I've not done any samples of these. I've not planned them. I just thought about them in my head and no, don't like the look of that, so I'm going to chop this off straight. But I am going to put it towards that side because I think it balances this out a little bit. And again, I'm going to put it on dimensionals. So that's how that one's looking. So that's 4 cards. Now, my next project's going to be a quick little 3D project. So I've got a piece of the designer series paper, which is the hats, but I'm going to use this side, the snowflake side. This is cut at 3 by 6. I'm simply going to fold this in half and burnish it. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer with the score blade and I'm going to put just on the wrong side a mark at 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to line this up and put a little mark at 1.5, turn it around and do the same. Now from that mark, I'm going to line that mark up in my groove on my trimmer with the score line here at the bottom. So I've got the score line in the trimmer track and the 1.5 inch. And I'm just going to score. Then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put the 1.5 inch mark, and I just need to burnish this a bit more because I can't actually see the score mark. So the 1.5 inch mark and the score line. The score line is going right through the black of the hat, so it's making it difficult for me to see. And I'm going to score, and then I'm going to turn it around and repeat. So I'll show you what you're going to end up with. You're basically going to end up with a triangle. So I'm just going to fold the score lines. So you're creating a triangle with that 1.5 inch mark that you put in top and bottom and score into the 3 inch mark. You're creating this, and this is just going to be your little treat holder. So I'm going to put 2 of the sides together. I'm going to bring in my crocodile. And punch a hole. Then I'm going to open those 2 up and fold these 2 in and do the same. And that's how it's going to fasten. I'm going to put some thread through the top. So again, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in this piece that I cut before, and I'm going to get 3 strands of this Whisper White flax ribbon. Obviously you put your little treat or whatever in there. I'm going to feed this through, hopefully. Yay, done it. So now I'm just going to tie this in a bow. Again, I'm just going to finagle around with it for a few seconds and just cut the tails. So that's how we're looking now. And then I'm going to bring in this is 1 1.5, and this is 1 3/4. Again, Whisper White, Coastal Cabana, because that's all the colours that's in the paper. For this one, I'm going to use the to and from. But again, I think I'm going to get those little snowflakes. I'll just put them on the other side. What should we do? Right, we'll do the snowflakes in the Coastal Cabana. And I think I'll stamp off. like so. Close that up. And then the to and from. I think I'll do in the real red. Let's just stamp it and see. Yeah. And then I'll put that over to the left so that if you do want to use this as a tag, you've got some, oh, look at that. Let's turn it over and try again. Real red, I find, is very, very juicy. Let's see if we get this one right. Yay, that's better. Could be a little bit more over, but for now that'll be fine. So I'll just do my little snowflakes again. So stamp off and stamp on. See, that's why we've got two pieces of card, isn't it? Or two sides to our piece of card. Because if things go wrong, we can always turn it over. Just bring in a fresh pad of dimensionals and just put one on it. I don't think it needs a lot on here. And then that is going to sit on there, hopefully, like so. So there you have it. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards and a little 3D project, and by the time this video is on my channel, this project will have already been done, but this is using exactly the same papers, same card, same stamp set. So if you've not already seen this video, go and have a look. It's called Chocolate Snowman Packaging. So I hope you've found that helpful. As I say, nothing too taxing or hard in any of that. It's just simple stamping on Whisper White and using some of the designer series paper and a little bit of ribbon. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so. Sorry if the colour is changing in the video, but 1 minute here it's dull, next minute it's a bright sunshiny day, so I'm not sure how well you're going to see this, but I will put a photograph at the end that will hopefully show you better. Anyway, as I say, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.